Got another old Sony Betamax in for service. This one here is just a mono Superbeta machine, so nothing fancy, just a two-head machine. And the complaint on it is it has a very poor picture. The color is very bad. So we're going to get into this one and see if we can figure out what's causing it. It could be anything on a unit like this. These units are all getting pretty long in the tooth, so just about anything could fail. But let's check it out. Got a Sony Betamax to look at. This one has apparently got poor or no color. And as you can see, there is, well, it's got a problem. I have no idea where to even begin looking on this one. But I guess first things first, I'll get the top off of it. The problem in the chroma circuit, I guess I could go out on a limb and say it's probably a capacitor is bad. Just because that's what usually goes wrong is caps go bad. But I guess we'll have to get this one apart and see. This is a kind of a different problem. I don't think I've seen one like this before. Just see whether this color switch does anything. No, that's just the intensity, but we definitely have a color sync problem. The chroma is not being put back to the correct spectrum. So we've got a black and white picture with just a bunch of noise. So that's kind of a different fault. I've got the head amplifier here. This is servo, because it says so right there. Where is the audio video on here? This is not a hi-fi machine, so the audio circuit would be very, very simple. I see Luma Chroma here, record YC, Y process, emphasis. Okay, I guess I have to get the scope out and we'll start looking for video and chroma. I need a longer ground clip than this has got on it. Alright, I'm just going to start looking and seeing what I can see. So I'm just scoping the video chip. Okay, I got video here. There's luminance. That looks like that might be chroma. That's the RF coming from the heads, for sure, if I dial down the tracking. So that's the RF in. This is the video process chip that I'm looking at here. So I should see both video and chroma. That almost looks like that pulsing you see there is the same, almost the same rate as the. That's just me bumping the head here. But that pulsing you see here looks to be almost the same frequency as the pulsing on the screen. So somewhere in here, somewhere in the circuit, something's not happy. That's just video. There's no chroma in that signal. That's luminance. So our burst is there. So our color burst is there. It's just it's not synchronizing. And if I try the wet finger, whether the wet finger will do anything on the screen. So I'm just going to put the wet finger on the process IC here and see whether anything changes. Well, I can kill the color completely. I don't want to show that too much because I don't want to get nailed. That's something I downloaded off of YouTube, so I don't want to show too much of it. Hopefully it won't match because the colors aren't right. Hopefully it won't just match on the picture, although the picture's pretty distorted. Oh cool, they got some shots of Vancouver on this tape. Interesting. That looks like Tofino. That part, anyway. That is the Empress Hotel in Victoria. And that is Science World in Vancouver. And that's the Lionsgate Bridge and the Broad Street Bridge in Vancouver. You know, this is one of these jobs that I don't even know where to begin looking. A manual probably would be a good idea for this. There's another board down here too, a chroma. I think this is a chroma subboard. I wonder if I should flip this board up and just take a look, or pull the bottom. Maybe I'll flip this board up. I'll pull the front panel off to do that. So front panel, just have to take out 2 screws on the bottom to remove that. Oops, I think I just shut it off. Yeah, I did. Okay, so there's another circuit board here. This is the chroma process board. So I wonder if the problem is on this bit. I bet the problem's on this board here. Wet fingering this to see if anything changes. Okay, that looks like there's a connection. Maybe a broken connection on here. Oh, look at this. This might be the problem. Maybe. Maybe, maybe not. Take a look at this delay line down here. Where am I? I know I just moved it and I saw things flex. Where the heck is it? Right here. I wonder if that's the fault. Well, I guess I'll resolder it and find out. It certainly moves when I touch the back of it. But that may not be the problem, but we'll resolder that anyway, just because it looks kind of questionable. Looks like the solder's cracked. Especially this one right here. Can you see that? Or is the camera not quite in focus? That, from my angle, that looks to be cracked. Right on the top edge of it there, you see? That looks to be cracked from my angle. Same with this one. Okay, let's see if this fixes it. So that wasn't the problem. I'm just looking at signals off of here. What do we got there? That's kind of an odd looking signal. The keying pulse. I don't know what pins do what because I don't have a pin out for the IC. I'm just kind of looking to see whether I see anything that resembles video. I see carriers, I see clocks. So I guess they're just carriers in this case because it's not digital. Be carriers for like the down conversion and the up conversion of the chroma. Where did the color go? It's like in a black and white picture now. Maybe just this particular segment of tape. It's like I've lost my color completely now. I had all those nice stripes before, and now it looks to be just a black and white picture. Now it might be because of the material that's on the screen, because I don't think there's a lot of color in this particular scene. I'll just fast forward to someplace where there's more color on this tape. Okay, that's better. It must have been just the saturation level of the color was low on that scene because the noise is back. Oh, interesting. I'll show you guys what I'm seeing here in just a minute. I'm just kind of looking at different signals. Okay, I got video there. Video there. It's interesting, when I touch my probe, the impedance of the probe is changing. I'll show you guys, show you the screen. When I touch my probe to certain pins, I'm getting, well, I'll show you. Now watch this. Now my probe is set for times 10, so it is adding some capacitance to this, but when I touch, where was I here? Here, you see? That pin there. Where the hell does that pin go? That pin comes down through this capacitor. Where the hell does it end up? Interesting. Let me just get the meter out. We'll do some voltage measurements. I might be in the right area. 3.7 volts. 7. 3. 0.13. 0.013. 1.3. And that's on this pin here that when I touch that pin, that's when that is the one off this lead here. This is the pin that I touched that it changed when I added the capacitance off of this lead here. It's R156, and there's an R157, and then there's this RV11 resistor, variable resistor, and I don't see any. The wiper is grounded, so this side here should be floating. It's connected to this resistor. That's the pull-up resistor, looks like. Or it sets the voltage. In here there's a cap, there's a small cap. C118. I'm measuring 5 volts on that one. 1.3. C119. I think something in this circuit here is bad. Maybe a bad cap or a bad resistor. I'm going to try this one, C119. I'm just going to swap it out or pull it and check it. because that one's right on it's right on the pin where when I touched it, it changed. I'm kind of guessing. I guess I gotta pop this off to do that. We got color. And the part is not in the circuit. I have not put the new part in. I just pulled this capacitor out and just turned it on for the hell of it, and the color came back. Interesting. Check this out and see how bad it is, but it's working without it. 'Cause there's where it goes right there. You can see it's completely out of circuit. This is where I was touching with the probe. It was right here. Right, that pin there. And it changed the way it, I guess just loading it down. If I, yeah, okay, yeah, you see? Yeah, if I just touch this with my finger, a wet finger, I get the same symptom I had. I'll show you guys the screen. That's the symptom I was having. Weird, that capacitor was causing it. I thought it was a cap, just from the looks of things. I mean, it's always caps, right? That's what always the fault is. It's always capacitors. No matter what the fault is, it's a cap. At least that's what we keep telling ourselves. And then it isn't a cap. But that's weird. I'm just going to see how bad that cap is, why it's doing that, because it must be leaky. But we'll measure it and just see how it appears. Does it look good? Is it bad? Let's see if we can measure it. So microfarads wise, this is a, what is it? It's a 1 microfarad at 50 volts. So it's a low capacity. It's probably to pull ripple or something out, but it's measuring 1 microfarad. So it's not measuring that it's bad. We'll look at it on the tongs. What do the tongs say? (984 nanofarads), so that's just under 1 microfarad. 8.6 ohms. That should not be a problem. Oops, wrong button. I just want to change the frequency that I'm going to test it under. Yeah, 1 microfarad at 100 hertz. I was measuring it at 10 kilohertz. 1 kilohertz is measuring 979. I wonder, maybe this is operating in the frequency of where the chroma is converted. Maybe that's where it is. It's in that 688 kilohertz range. Anyway, it appears to work without it, so I don't know whether I should bother replacing it or just leave it. I'll put it in. I'll put one in. It's a 1 microfarad. I got lots of those. We'll throw a new one in there and get this one taken care of. Oh, where's my other meter? I'll check the ESR on the other meter while I'm at it. ESR did not look to be high. Now, maybe heating it up to remove it from the circuit fixed a problem. Maybe it was internally shorting, and when I put heat on it to remove it, it cleared it. That's a possibility. But let's just take a look at the ESR with the ESR meter, because measurement wise this cap looks fine. 2.2 ohms for a 1 microfarad. I mean, it's a 50 volt, so a 63 would be between 14 and 16 ohms for a 35 to 63. So it should be somewhere in there, and it certainly is. 2.2 ohms is not a problem. This cap tests good, but why was there no color? That's weird. That's weird. I'll throw another one in there and see what happens. Kind of a hokey way of just attaching the board, but I guess this was made when the beta was just on its last legs as far as production go. I think this was fairly close to the end. It's a 711B3 chassis. I should probably test it before I put too many screws in it. There it is working. I don't know if this machine supports, well, if you're wondering about the sound, by the way, I'm using a couple of external microphones now, so just want to see how it sounds. So I'm actually using two mics. They're mounted. One's mounted on the light stand and the other's mounted on the tripod right above me. So just want to see how the two microphones sound. So I am recording in stereo with the microphones spaced out a couple of feet. And just to see how it sounds. Got a couple of other tapes here. I don't know that this one, I don't think this, well, it'll play Beta 1, but I don't think this will play Super Beta 1, but we'll see. This is the Super Beta 1 tape. I guess it does play, because on a regular beta machine, this would not play at all, I don't think. Tracking. But as you can see, that's spinning along pretty good there. I wish I could show some more of the footage off of this tape, but unfortunately, it was done by Lounge V Studios, and as we've talked about before, Lounge V makes their content available for free. It's royalty free, apparently. In other words, you don't need their permission to use this in your retail store to demonstrate TVs. You don't need it to show it in your doctor's or dentist's waiting room. You can leave this on all day. You only need their permission if you're posting it to social media sites where the channel is monetized. If you post it to a non-monetized channel, they don't care. You post it to a monetized channel and those pricks come along and take the revenue, even if you're just using it to demonstrate that you've fixed something. So I try to not use their footage. Of course, the tracking is much more sensitive on Beta 1 because there's a guard band between each of the tracks, right? Even though it was recorded on SL330, which has the wider heads for Beta 1, there is still a guard band between each track on Beta 1. That's what made Beta 1 as good as it was. This is playing back with thin heads for Beta 2, Beta 3. It doesn't have the extra wide heads for Beta 1. So if I roll the tracking, I can track it right into the guard band between the track, and as I move the tracking control, the picture will lock in. That's the center. And as I go the other way, the picture will go back to snow. So the alignment on this machine is pretty good. It's pretty close. I know the alignment on my machine that made the recording is perfect because I set it up with the factory alignment tape. This was the last new Betamax tape that I opened up. A friend gave me a couple of tapes that his dad had in his, I don't know why he had it, I don't know if he had a beta machine or what, but he found a couple of tapes and they were brand new. I've still got one that has not been opened. I've got a few beta tapes that are still factory sealed, but this was from the last batch. They even came with two different labels. One label was marked NTSC, as you can see right there on the label. and the second label was marked PAL CCAM. And you checked what length it was on here, on one of these spine labels, but I figured I would keep this. This would have been, I don't know if it's got the date on here or not, Sony of Canada. Wonder if they've got the printing date on here. But this would have been probably around 2015, 2016, right around the time when they stopped making, because they made the beta cassettes right till like 2016. And this would have been like right at the end. It was just a straight black box at the last run of them. See, this design was plungerless. It was just a loading motor that did everything. When you stopped it, this is what, using a cam gear, engaged the pinch roller. And also loaded and unloaded the tape. So this is the 4-motor design, this one. Drum motor, capstan motor, which drives the take up and supply spool with a belt, and then the cam motor for loading and operating the cam, and the front loader, the elevator motor. They had this one. This was the last design that they had for the beta chassis, for the consumer beta chassis. Anyway, this one's fixed up. So I'll say thanks for watching, and we'll catch you in the next one. Bye.